Hello everyone, this is as always Marcin, and today may be a little bit controversial subject, at least the title of this video, in which I claim that beauty images will ruin your portfolio. So first of all, I am professional retoucher and I'm going to discuss why building up your portfolio based on beauty image will be a bad idea. And if you're a photographer, that also relates to you, and if you're a retoucher, that like me, that will relate to you. Of course, it's not a claim that having beauty images in portfolio will ruin that or affect you badly. But of course, what I mean building up portfolio strictly based on beauty images or having majority of beauty images in your portfolio will be affecting this portfolio badly. So before we start, I invite you to check the links in the description. You can check my portfolio, exactly what I'm doing. You can check also my educational page where I share my premium retouching courses. Of course, no pressure, but I encourage to check everything I do to back up the claims. Maybe I do. So what I mean about the problem with the beauty images, and I'm speaking based on my own experience through the years and based on mistakes I've done at the beginning of the retouching work I was doing. I see a lot of photographers and I also see a lot of retouchers. When they start their adventure, they get easily tricked into the beauty industry. So they think the beauty industry is the most important thing that exists there, and they start making a lot of beauty images. So for photographers, it's a quite tricky situation, and I'm gonna start from photographers. For photographers, it's quite easy to get into collaborations with makeup artists, and this collaboration is much easier than preparing everything for the fashion shot, because for the beauty image you basically need good makeup artist, maybe a hairstylist, good lighting setup, and you are good to go and do beauty portraits. There is one problem. There is not really that big of the market for the beauty industry. Of course, we have a lot of beauty products, but compare this market, the beauty market, to the fashion market, it's actually smaller. The fashion market is much bigger and it's much more scalable. So when photographers do collaborations with makeup artists, I can tell you that the one person profiting from this will be makeup artist showing off the great makeup skills. But for photographer, it will only show that photographer is able to do the portrait images. It will not show anything more. In fashion images, photographer is able to show his creative side and tell the story of the images. And now let's move to the portfolio itself, and that will be also about retouchers, of course. So there is a common misconception of retouching, which is considered like beautiful, flawless skin. And I feel this trend started was a few years ago. I saw people on Facebook, in social media, sharing images and showing, look how this skin is beautiful. It's perfect skin. Look at these contours of the skin and look at this amazing pop I did to the skin texture. So it created this weird obsession of these shiny images, popping skin texture on social media. And it created the concept that this is what retouching is about. And then I see the people who have the portfolio when there is 100 beauty images and there is no big diversity on the images. There is no different stories of these images. And all of these 100 images show one thing, that you know how to retouch the skin. And that's all they show. So this is the first problem, that the portfolio will become non-representative for any other area. And the fact is there's much more fashion work because there's lookbooks, there's editorials, there's campaigns. So there's a lot of fashion brands, and this would really diversify your portfolio. The other thing, so the first side is the work. For photographers and for retouchers, sticking to beauty, only to beauty, basically will have the bad effects. This one and this thing we know. But now for retouchers, if retouchers will be doing, and I see it for, I see some people that I was starting with doing retouching, and we would retouch beauty images. And a few years later, I moved more into doing fashion. I tried to focus into fashion, on the market, on the job opportunities. And some other people I see stick to the beauty. They often struggle with finding the right jobs. And when I talk to them, I say, like, look, just improve your portfolio, add some fashion images. You shouldn't do as many beauty images. But then the answer would be, but I like beauty images. I like working on the skin. And there's like every day, not every day maybe, but the retouch is doing the Dutch and burn retouch, doing skin. And it's like very repetitive process, and they seem to love doing this. But that ruined their work. And then when finally, after getting used to doing beauty work, they try to do fashion work, and the major mistakes start. And many fashion photographers would notice this when they ask retoucher that has portfolio full of beauty images, they ask to retouch the image, and the image is overdone. Because in the fashion images, you don't retouch the skin that much. So for the fashion images, for editorials, you retouch the spots that really bother. But when it comes to Dutch and burn, you don't do such a heavy Dutch and burn retouching. So then when the photographer receives such as editorial from retoucher, all the imperfections on the image are gone. There is no transition on the skin, on the arms, on the legs, which should exist. Like they should not be completely retouched with Dutch and burn. We should preserve some imperfections in terms of the lines. The natural shadows need to exist. And I saw these colleagues that the retouchers that do editorials, and they spend, for example, on one editorial image 1 hour or even more doing Dutch and burn on this image. And this creates this ridiculous situation, and later it's really hard to look at this sort of image. So I guess this talk is be aware of these things in the industry. Be aware of that doing too many beauty images will give you some bad habits for other images. Too many beauty images will affect your portfolio in a bad way, that it will not be diversified. Then if you try to switch into fashion editors, you might just have this wrong habits continuing. And lastly, if your portfolio is not diversified, it will be difficult to find a job. And as I said, for the beauty images, probably the most profits have the makeup artists. Of course, if this is commercial job, it's amazing. But commercial job usually has less retouching, from what I see, than beauty editorials that are result of collaborations with makeup artists. So be aware of that, and don't think the skin have to be absolutely perfectly flawless on every single image you will ever do. I have many people who follow me, many retouchers who follow me. Maybe you are watching this, and sometimes I check the other images who follow me, the people who follow me, and when I open their profile, it's all beauty images. From top to bottom, skin all the same. It's not the way to go. So keep it in mind, diversify your portfolio, find creative photographers to work with. This is the key to success. There are people who are looking for photographers, and the best collaborations come out from the long-term work with people who you trust. So that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say be aware of retouching beauty images. I will talk about more subjects in some other videos. I want to talk about finding your first jobs. This is a question I get the comment, how to start retouching. Often people who ask, and when I check their work, there is nothing they can show off to actually find work. So I will be touching this subject. And of course, if you have more questions about retouching work, maybe photography, as I say, I'm not a photographer, but I work in the industry, so maybe sometimes I can say something. So if there's a question you want to ask, just ask, and I try to make the video and talk about this thing. So thank you for watching. Next time I'm coming back with tutorial, and also I might record sometimes this sort of casual conversations where I will try to make the point. Probably, I see this video is over 10 minutes. Probably if I would speak less chaotic, I could make this video in less than 5 minutes, but I hope my face is not really that tragic to look at. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.